Alright, what it do, everybody? So, Seattle's going to be a new team in a day or two. So, I said go ahead and do a mock expansion draft and see who gets picked by what player Seattle will pick from your team. So, I did 3 versions of this, so this is the first version of it. So, the first version I said I'd go a bit off the boards a little bit. Made it a little bit of a chic pick here with Alexander Volkov. Now, a bunch of people are drafting Fleury over Volkov currently, and it makes sense why, because he's top. He can be a top, 6 defenseman in the league, and he's fairly good. So there is that, but I chose Volkov because I really do like his offensive upside, and he can be the type of player that that a team like Seattle would definitely love to have, or any team in the league would love to have. With the Coyotes, there was not much to pick. I just chose Christian Fischer and called it a day because the Coyotes really don't have much on here. They're pretty bad. With the Bruins, I took Jeremy Lauzon. He's a cash money pick right here. And you really can't go wrong with Jeremy Lauzon. He's a very, very good defenseman. He's a young guy, cost controlled. You can easily trade him, you can flip him, you can do whatever you want. He's money in the bank right there. So I took Lauzon. Sabres, I took Gambis Girgensons. He's a bit of a bright spot on a really, really bad team. So, and he's also a former All-Star as well. So, easy money. With Calgary, I took Mark Giordano. He's probably one of the better available players when it comes to veteranship, and he's a very good defenseman. He's still a very good defenseman. He's still kicking it. 1 year of him, if he's bad, you can trade him. If he's good, then keep him or trade him if you're, not a playoff team. But I'll be honest, I do think Seattle's going to be a playoff team given how trash Pacific Division is. So yeah, Mark Giordano's my pick. With Carolina, I said take Jake Bean. Nina Riederreiter and Jake Gardner are just too expensive. So I take Jake Bean in this case. With the Blackhawks, I took Vinny Histroza. Again, cost control guy, fairly cheap. Dehan and Zadorov are too expensive, so I went for Vinny Histroza. For Colorado, I said the gamble here for Landeskog. I do think that for Landeskog, you can probably give him a blank check, and he'll be willing to sign whatever is on there. So just have him write a number and boom. That's how guy Landeskog is, and so the Kraken will be foolish to not draft him. So that's my pick right there. Columbus, they apparently don't want to do Max Domi, so I picked Kevin Stenlund instead, who's probably the best player available out of the rest of them. He just has that good upside. I've said quite a bit already, but yeah, he has really good upside, so I took Stenlund. With Dallas, I take Ben Bishop. He's fairly injured a lot, but he can't be a very good goaltender when he's healthy. So, he's like Vezina level, man. So, Ben Bishop's my pick there. With the Red Wings, there are quite a few decent options here. There's Vechnikov, there's Nemestikov. Nemestikov's not that great, but Zechnikov's there. But Troy Setcher's again a cheap defenseman. He can play. So, easy money right there. Troy Setcher. With the Oilers, I say Tyson Barrie instead of Larson or Clefbaum or Russell, because clearly Clefbaum's injured, and I don't think he's going to be able to really play the same way he used to be, because he's a very good defenseman, but that injury looks quite rough. Adam Larson, he's a pending UFA, but he's not that good, man. Chris Russell's just too old. He's a bit of a pylon, so yeah, Tyson Barrie it is. The Panthers, I took Chris Drieger because it's more essentially confirmed at this point that Drieger will be a Kraken player, and that he's already like handshake agreed to a 3-year contract. So yeah, Drieger it is. With the Kings, I took Cale Clegg, young defenseman, has some interesting upside. So yeah, Clegg it is. With the Wild, I took Kaapo Kähkönen, young goaltender. His save percentage was a bit rough, but he can be something. The Canadiens, I took Cale Fleury because I already drafted Ben Bishop as my veteran goaltender in this version of this team, so there's no need to draft someone else. And Weber is just a bit too expensive. If I wanted the veteran leadership and all that stuff, Giordano already does that more than enough for me. So Cale Fleury it is. The Predators, I was not going to take Duchesne or Johansson because those contracts are terrible. Johansson's contract is just such an overpayment, and he's a lot of it's because of his injuries, and also that Nashville just can't produce offensively at all. They just can't. Like Duchesne, they signed another $8 million contract. He's been also rough as well. It's Yeah, up the middle right there. Those are terrible contracts, and yeah, so that's why I took Kelly Youngfoot instead. I was really honestly considering Mark Borowetsky, but I already have enough. I'll probably have enough veterans soon enough, so I took Kelly Youngfoot instead. With the Devils, I was really tempted to take Subban, but I really love Subban. I love me some Subban. He's one of the best. One of the great personalities of the game. A great way to market your team and stuff. But I had to take Nathan Bastian. He has way more upside. He's far more cheaper, so went with him. With the Islanders, there's Epperly and Bailey available, but I took Andy Green instead. He's again like Giordano, veteran presence, but he can still kick it, and in this case, he's quite cost controlled, so easy money right there. With the Rangers, they really just gave Julian Gauthier away, and he could be something, but he'll probably just be like a death guy, bottom six forward and stuff. But it's a good player, cost controlled again, so why not? Why not? With Ottawa, I took Chris Tierney. We need some more centers, and Chris Tierney is is a quality center in right there. So, yep. I'm surprised that Ottawa even just left him unprotected like that. So, pretty surprising there. With the Flyers, I took JVR. I really like what JVR brings to the table. He's definitely a power play specialist. He had 43 points in 55 games this season. Contracts, big expensive, but he's a good player. He's a very good player. And if say Landeskog falls apart, then JVR is a good consolation prize there. With the Penguins, I said take Chad Riedel. He's just good depth. Yeah, there just isn't a lot of. Because if you look at Pettersson's not that great of a player. He just isn't that good anymore. Tanev is a tough contract. Zucker, tough contract. So yeah, it just became Chad Riedel was the other option. I mean, you could do Casey Smith or Lacoste, but there are better goaltender options out there. So yeah, so I went with Riedel. Oh, the Sharks, I went for Ryan Donato because, again, younger guy, surprising that he's on there. And I was considering Matt Nieto, but if Donato's available, I'll probably take him over Matt Nieto because Nieto's still in IR. So yep, Donato it is. And then we go for the Blues. I took Tarasenko. He's a very very good player. He's injured, so he's not really been at his 100% recently. But yeah, it's an opportunity you shouldn't pass up. Guys like Tarasenko don't grow on trees, so yeah, value Tarasenko for sure. With the Lightning, I say take Cal Foote instead. Instead of taking any of these forwards, I took Cal Foote, cost controlled guy. And maybe I took Cal Foote as well as for a certain player that I'll mention. I'll reveal a bit later on. But yeah, he's again another young defenseman. He could really be something. I did talk about quite a few of these defensive guys. Killig, Fleury, Foote now. So yeah, I definitely stockpiled in that one. So definitely no one's missing me not drafting Hayden Fleury now. Now the Leafs, I took Alexander Kerfoot. Again, we need more centers, so Kerfoot's a good center right there, so Kerfoot it is. Jared McCann was really attractive though, so I was considering Jared McCann quite a bit, but went for Kerfoot. Canucks, I took Zach McEwen. I guess older prospect could be something, but probably just depth at this point. So took him because I didn't want to take Jake McCann because he has too much baggage, and the other contracts are just too expensive. So yeah. The Capitals, I took Ovechkin. This is a bit of the balls to the wall sort of team right there, so I was like, screw it, let's take Ovechkin. Let's have some fun here. And with the Jets, I took Dylan Demelo. I mean, it's just the best option here. Cost controlled guy, fairly, in his prime. That's awesome. That's an awesome contract, and of course I'm going to take him. So, yeah, that's the roster for this team. If you look at let me go and view team. Fairly solid team. I mean, this team definitely is going to make the playoffs in the Pacific Division for sure. Now there is now we have to hope that Ovechkin and Landeskog, at least one of those guys will sign with the Kraken. Ovechkin probably doesn't, but Landeskog probably will. So there's a higher chance Landeskog will, I should say. And there are a lot of RFAs on defense, but there is 6 of them that already have contracts on. So there is that, and Dreger is also there. You have Bishop, Cockton, Dreger, solid, going tandem there, and yeah. So that's the first version of the Kraken team. Now my second version, a little bit different. I decided to go a bit, change some options here. Instead of Andy Green, I took Jordan Eberle. I took Nini Ryder instead. I took Yanni Gord. So I removed essentially the two big guys. So Ovechkin and Landeskog, they're no longer going to be drafted. Instead, take guys, easy guys that are probably going to that have like terms. So Dowd and Comfer who have like a year or two on their contracts. The only like free agent here is Histroza, which I didn't really have much options there, and the defense is a bit different. I took Clefbaum instead. If it doesn't work out, then he's IR money they can bury. Colin Miller, gritty guy, fairly decent defenseman. Same with Dylan Demelo again. The Demelo contract is too good that all my versions I just took Demelo because why not? And then Stetcher's here, and then I took Fleury this time. I took Hayden Fleury this time. I put the bill, took Hayden Fleury. And then you have just, guys like Benning, Lausanne, Riedel, Bowie. And then the new addition is Carey Price. This is where I said you trade in, the Ovechkin and Landeskog money. I put into guys like Carey Price, for Yanni Gord, Niederreiter, and Eberle. I put there more assets that are going to be there. And also, instead of doing JVR, I took Voracek this time because I had some guaranteed left wingers in this case. So that's another version of Kraken. And this version I decided I had the most fun with it. I went for all gritty guys. So I took Adam Henrique, Milan Lucic, Brandon Tanev, Kerfoot, Comfort, Beagle. Even the Beagle's on NCIR, so that's probably the best option there. Sissons, Wagner, Como, Maroon, Bukeside, Nieto, Bobby Ryan, Brock McGinn. Ooh, that's just some North American, good old North American players. And on defense, baby, let's go. Weber, Miller, Scandella, DeMello, Jensen, Braun, Kukan, Chris Russell, Joshua Brown, Andy Green, Potato, and Zadorov. Mostly North American boys, you feel me? And then goaltending got Jonathan Quick, Scott Wedgwood, Joseph Corner, and Chris Streeter, which, oh boy, that's a chaotic goaltender right there. I think Wedgwood and Corner you could probably bury in the minors and have them develop and stuff. Well, I don't know if Wedgwood needs development at this point, but he could be a decent third guy because Quick probably get injured at some point. So, yeah, those are my three Kraken teams. I honestly feel that these two teams can definitely make the playoffs. The first team can make the playoffs. This team will have to beg it. They'll probably could make their way to the playoffs. I have my doubts that they make to the playoffs, but all good old gritty North American boy team, I guess. But yeah, that's my extension draft, guys. Hope you guys enjoy it. It's completely different type of video than I usually make, but hey man, gotta experiment. So thank you for watching. Catch you later. See ya.